Good morning, everybody. Hi there, this is Moss Jackson. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year. Hope you are doing well. Welcome back. Appreciate all you who have been following this series. And I welcome new people, whoever may have joined recently, to the series called Anxiety Sucks, 10 Ways to Make Yourself Miserable. Well, this is based on a new book I'll be working on. I hope to get the first draft completed during Christmas holidays. We're going to take a lot of time off so I can work on it. Anyway, during this series, Anxiety Sucks, we've talked about a number of ways in which people do it. For example, taking things too personally. Number 2, blaming and complaining others. 3, comparing yourself to other people. It's a great way to make yourself miserable. Teenage kids, 13, 14, 15, through social media are doing this all the time. I was looking at who's doing what, why didn't I get invited, who's wearing what, who has the new haircut. They drive themselves into misery. Another one is having regrets and resentments and not knowing how to let them go. And the last one we did was ruminations, holding on to stuff too long. So today we have a big source of misery called perfectionism. Hey, Francis. Hey, good to see you. Perfectionism. So I like the quote by Norman Vincent Peale. Drop the idea you are Atlas carrying the world on your shoulders. Don't take yourself so seriously. Well, we all want to do well and not look like jerks. That's just common sense. We desire approval from others, and we don't like disapproval and criticism that comes our way when we fail to perform well or when someone doesn't like what we're doing. It seems reasonable to work, study, and learn in order to succeed and value in our personal relationships and productivity at work. It is not reasonable to expect perfection and never make a mistake or screwing up in some way. Perfection as a realistic goal usually creates failure, to have a sense of humor, and perspective about yourself. If you hold yourself to a perfectionistic standard and take yourself too seriously, whenever you make a mistake, it can feel personally devastating and shameful. You have no room for perspective, compassion, and a lightness of being. We fail to appreciate the mistake or failure is situational, not personal. If you take your mistakes personally, life can get very serious and scary. Misery, pure misery, all right? So, some questions for you to consider. Do you hold yourself to a perfectionistic standard? Do you judge yourself as a failure when you make a mistake? Do you worry about what others are going to think about your performance? Do you lack self-compassion and a sense of humor when you screw up? Are you taking life too seriously? You know, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Portugal to give a talk on Anxiety Sucks, 10 Ways to Make Yourself Miserable. I worked pretty hard on my slides. My slides were great. They were really, I have to tell you, perfect. So I got up on the podium, about 150 people in the room, maybe 1,000 people online. And I started to give a talk, and it was going quite smoothly until I lost where I was in my notes. I just lost track of my notes. I was now in a state of imperfection, imminent doom, if I took this too seriously, and getting paralyzed. I didn't know what to do. All I did was I looked at my slides, left my notes where they were on the floor, and just, improvised. I had a great time. Hopefully the audience had a great time. But when it was done, I didn't care. It was like I did what I did, and I got what I got. So, are you taking life and work too seriously? Here's some facts. Everybody fails, makes mistakes, and screws up, including you. There is no such thing as perfectionism. It's a myth. It's a myth, a stupid myth. Making mistakes is not personal. Your children will never be perfect, nor your spouse. Sorry, nobody cares anyway. Taking yourself so seriously will not win you any gold medals in life. You will die probably regretting you took life too seriously. Look, there is a good way of being a perfectionist. if you enjoy it, if you really, really enjoy it, getting better all the time and working 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours a day at your craft, at your art, fine. But if you fret about it, thinking to yourself, I got to do this really, really well, if not perfectly, or else, that's the part that will drive you into misery. So how about this? How about stop trying to be perfect? Stop taking your mistakes and failures so personally. Stop judging yourself so harshly. You're just a human being. Stop confusing your mistakes with who you are as a person. And stop expecting anyone else, particularly your children and your spouse and your parents, to be perfect. And maybe this, how about start moving from a rigid performance mindset where you got to do well, got to perform great, to a growth mindset where you're learning from your mistakes. Give yourself a break today. And how about start building some self-compassion when things don't turn out the way you hoped? Maybe no one, including you, is at fault. So forgive yourself. Have a sense of humor about it. I like this one. Start living life as a baseball player. You know, a baseball batter will probably get into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, if he hits the ball 3 times out of 10, strikes out 7 times, hits the ball safely 3 times. 3 times will get you into the Baseball Hall of Fame. How about allowing yourself to strike out 7 times and relish the joy of hitting 300? Start asking yourself if you're taking yourself and life too seriously. Is it working for you? Is being so serious, being Atlas, carrying the world and having to be so perfect, like you're a neurosurgeon, or you're the director of the water treatment plant of Philadelphia, or you are manning the atomic weapon system? Are you taking life so seriously? Are you really happy and fulfilled? Or just finding yourself, hey, look, I like what I do. I don't need to be perfect. I'm hitting life as about hitting 300. So no one really knows how to do life. Life's an experiment, and we're all experimenters. Some people play life as trying things out. Let me try this, let me try that. I like Goldilocks. Soup was too hot, too cold, just right. Chair was just too hard, too soft, just right. Sometimes things work out, other times they don't. People learn from experience, learning, and we modify our ways as we go, basically learning from mistakes. Others adhere to a very rigid and persistent attachment to not learning or changing. They got to be perfect, just perfect. For them, life is not an experiment. It's a serious matter, and people have to do things right, especially themselves. So for this holiday season, I'd like you to give you a gift. At least I'm going to try to give you a gift. Life is great. It's just life. We live a limited time on the planet. It's very short. You know, I'm now 82. I'm very aware of my mortality. I've given myself permission to be what's called an elder, a person with a short time with a big vision. So I got a lot of things that I got to do, that I want to do, like finish this book. It won't be perfect. I have never done anything perfect in my life. I've given piano recitals, I've painted, I've given talks. I've never been perfect, and I have no interest in being perfect. It is too goddamn stressful, too hard, and I don't like it. Life's an experiment, and I like being an experimenter. So I wish you happy holidays, experimentation, and I hope you join me again. When am I going to do this again? I got to look at my schedule. I think we have Christmas coming up next week, so I might take next week off. Or if Judy's around, maybe we'll do one together. That might be kind of cool. Yeah, I might want to do that. And if I do it, which one will it be? It might be... Hold on a sec. I have it written down here someplace. See, I'm not perfect. I don't have everything here. Oh, I got a great one. Hanging out with miserable people. Hanging out with miserable people. You got to get miserable, toxic people out of your life. So maybe next Monday, that's what we'll talk about. In the meantime, happy holidays. Have a good one.